All right. Hey, shalom, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Shit, I woke up late. But, hey, I'm up. So let's rise in scripts, man. Let's rise in scripts. Let's rise in scripts this morning or today. Rise in scripts. We're going to get back into first Maccabees, man. We're going to finish reading. Hey, shalom. Shalom, baseball pro. Well, we're gonna get back and we're gonna pick back up in chapter 5 and read from chapter 5 to chapter 9. In fact, chapter 5 through chapter 8 this morning in Rising Scripts. Man, man, oh man. Oh, I still got, oh, I'm tired. I've been tired lately. But it's all gravy. As long as I have breath to breathe, then I have all I need to succeed. I can open my eyes. As long as I've opened my eyes, then I can read a little bit. I can read a little bit, man. We're gonna start off with the books of the Bible. We're gonna start off with the books of the Bible this morning or today. That's gonna be the first thing on the list. What are the books of the Bible before we read, man? Before we read. I ain't got no cold or nothing in my eyes. I know I washed my face, but that don't mean I ain't missing nothing. All right. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, First Ezra, Second Ezra, Tobit, Judith, the rest of Esther, the wisdom of Solomon, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, Baruch, the song of the three holy children, the history of Susanna, the destruction of Bel and the dragon, the prayer of Manassas, First Maccabees, which we're in, Second Maccabees, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, First Corinthians, Second Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Colossians. Is it Ephesians, Colossians? Yep. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. First Thessalonians, Second Thessalonians, First Timothy, Second Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, First Peter, Second Peter, First John, Second John, Third John, Jude, and Revelations. Man, I had to look a couple of times. I had to look twice. Twice. I had to look twice on that Ephesians one. Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. Well, other than that, I got them. I did them all. So let's blow this trumpet before we read. Let's blow this trumpet up before we read. And then we're going to get into First Maccabees, man. Mattathias was out there doing and handling his business, killing boys. And then he died and left everything to his sons. And then his son Judas Maccabeus came up after him and started killing boys too. Had zeal to defend his people and defend the laws of God because the heathen, the Antiochus and Ptolemy and the generals who came up under Alexander the Great, who had taken over after Alexander died, started putting out decrees that everybody should keep their law and do away with their father's laws and profane the Sabbaths and the feast days, and they wasn't having it. And they stood on business. And boys were standing on business. Bitch, I'll kill you. Yeah, I liked that. I like it. But let's be remembered. Let's be remembered. Hope you hear the trumpet, like the trumpet sounded in the many battles that they had for For their winds, they sounded the trumpet and praised the Most High with songs. And before they went to battle, they sounded the trumpets. So let's sound the trumpets, man. Before we read, let's sound the trumpet. Shit. Shalom, shalom. I might need it because they might sound the trumpets again in there. And I'm going to sound it. Blow the trumpets. This is the book of First Maccabees. First Maccabees, chapter 5. Book of First Maccabees, chapter 5. Whew. Now when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much. Wherefore they thought to destroy the generation of Jacob that was among them, and thereupon there began to slay and destroy the people. Then Judas fought against the children of Esau in Idumea at Arabatim, and because they besieged Israel, and he gave them a great overthrow, and abated their courage, and took their spoils. Also, he remembered the injury of the children of Ben, who had been a snare and an offense unto the people, and in that they lay in wait for them in the ways. He shut them up therefore in the towers, and encamped against them, and destroyed them utterly, and burned the towers of that place with fire, and all that were therein. Afterward, he passed over to the children of Ammon, where he found a mighty power and much people, with Timotheus, their captain. So he fought many battles with them, till at length they were discomforted before him, and he smote them. And when he had taken Jazer, with the towns belonging thereto, he returned into Judea. And then the heathen that were at Gilead, assembled themselves together against the Israelites that were in their quarters to destroy them, but they fled to the fortress of Dathema. These are some names of some places that really can be looked up. Dathema or Dathema. And sent letters unto Judas and his brethren, the heathen that are round about us are assembled together against us to destroy us. And they are preparing to come and take the fortress whereunto we are fled, Timotheus being captain of their host. Come now, therefore, and deliver us from their hands, for many of us are slain. And yea, all our brethren that were in the places of Toby are put to death, and their wives and their children also they have carried away captives, and borne away their stuff, and they have destroyed there about 1,000 men. While these letters were yet reading, behold, there came other messengers from Galilee with their clothes rent, who reported on this wise, and said, they of Ptolemais and of Tyrus and Zidon and of Galilee of the Gentiles are assembled together against us to consume us. Now when Judas and the people heard these words, there assembled a great congregation together to consult what they should do for their brethren that were in the trouble and assaulted of them. Then said Judas unto Simon his brother, choose thee out men, and go and deliver thee thy brethren that are in Galilee. For I and Jonathan my brother will go into the country of Gilead. So he left Joseph, the son of Zacharias, and Azarias, captains of the people, with the remnant of the host of Judea to keep it, unto whom he gave commandment, saying, take ye the charge of this people, and see that ye make not war against the heathen until the time that we come again. Now unto Simon were given 3,000 men to go to Galilee, and unto Judas 8,000 men for the country of Gilead. Then went Simon into Galilee, where he fought many battles with the heathen, so that the heathen were discomfited by him. And he pursued them unto the gates of Ptolemais, and there were slain of the heathen about 3,000 men, whose spoils were took. And those that were in Galilee and in Arbatus, that's another name, Arbatus, with their wives and their children and all that they had, took he away with him and brought them into Judea with great joy. And Judas Maccabeus also and his brother Jonathan went over Jordan and traveled 3 days' journey in the wilderness, where they met with the Nabathites, who came unto them in a peaceable manner and told them everything that had happened to their brethren in the land of Gilead, and how that many of them were shut in Bootsoulja and Bozer and Alama, Cosphor, Mate, and Carnium. That sounds like that name in the Mummy, Carnium. All these cities are strong and great, and that they were shut up in the rest of the cities of the country of Gilead, and that against the morrow they had appointed to bring their host against the forts, and to take them, and to destroy them all in one day. Hereupon Judas and his host turned suddenly by the way of the wilderness unto Bootsoulja, and when he had won the city, he slew all the males with the edge of the sword, and took all their spoils, and burned the city with fire. From hence he removed by night, and went till he came to the fortress. And betimes in the morning they looked up, and behold, there was an innumerable people bearing ladders and other engines of war, and to take the fortress, for they assaulted them. I wonder what these engines of wars were. Engines of war. Engines of war. I wonder if they was like in the movies, you know, like how they had the tower stacked up a couple stories high with on wheels that they was pushing, or was it catapults, you know, and stuff like that. People bearing, if there was an innumerable people bearing ladders and other engines of war to take the fortress, for they assaulted them. But to look at engines of war, what is that? Innumerable. And when Judas therefore saw that the battle was begun, and that the cry of the city went up to heaven with trumpets and with a great sound, he said unto his hosts, fight this day for your brethren. With trumpets and with trumpets and a great sound, he said unto his hosts, fight this day for your brethren. So he went forth behind them in 3 companies. He sounded their trumpets and cried with prayer, and he cried with prayer. Then the then the host of Timotheus, knowing that it was Maccabees, fled from him. Wherefore he smote them with a great slaughter, so that there were killed of them that day about 8,000 men. And this done, Judas turned aside to Maspha, and after he had assaulted it, he took it, and slew all the males therein, and received the spoils thereof, and burnt it with fire. From thence went he and took Cassaph, Majd, Boser, and other cities of the country of Gilead. After these things gathered Timotheus another host, and encamped against Raphan behind the brook, beyond the brook. So Judas sent men to espy the host, who brought him word, saying, all the heathen that be round about us are assembled unto them, even the very great hosts. And he hath also hired the Arabians to help them, and they have pitched their tents beyond the brook, ready to come and fight against thee. And upon this Judas went to meet them. Then Timotheus said unto the captains of his hosts, when Judas and his hosts come near the brook, if he pass over first unto us, we will not be able to withstand him, for he will mightily prevail against us. But if he be afraid and camp beyond the river, we shall go over unto him and prevail against him. Now when Judas came near the brook, he caused the scribes of the people to remain by the brook, unto whom he gave commandment, saying, suffer no man to remain in the camp, but let all come to the battle. So he went first over unto them, and all the people after him. That boy, a soldier, like Toussaint. He went out there first, like Toussaint, just like Toussaint Louverture, man. He went out there first to the battle. Lead the way. Charge! Get him, Judas. Maccabees. Not Judas Iscariot, Judas Maccabees. So he went out there first unto them, and all the people after him. Then all the heathen, being discomfited before him, cast away their weapons and fled unto the temple that was in Carnium. Yeah, it sounded like damn the mummy. But they took the city and burned the temple with all that were therein, and thus was Carnium subdued. Neither could they stand any longer before Judas. Then Judas gathered together all the Israelites that were in the country of Gilead, from the least unto the greatest, even their wives and their children and their stuff, a very great host, to the end they might come into the land of Judea. Now when they came unto Ephron, this was a great city in the way as they should go, and very well fortified, and they could not turn from it, either on the right hand or the left, but must needs pass through the midst of it. Then they of the city shut them out, and stopped up the gates with stones. They barricaded themselves in. Whereupon Judas sent unto them in peaceable manner, saying, let us pass through your land, to go into our own country, and none shall do you any hurt. We will only pass through on foot. Howbeit, they were not open unto him. Wherefore Judas commanded the proclamation to be made throughout the host, that every man should pitch his tent in the place where he was. So the soldiers pitched and assaulted the city all that day and all that night, till at length the city was delivered into his hands. And who then slew all the men with the edge of the sword, and razed the city, and took the spoils thereof, and passed through the city over them that were slain, stepping over dead bodies. Bitch, I told you we just wanted to pass. We wasn't going to do you nothing, but look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. After this went they over Jordan into the great plain before Bethsan. Then Judas gathered together those that came behind, and exhorted the people all the way through, till they came into the land of Judea. So they went up to Mount Zion with joy and gladness, where they offered burnt offerings, because not one of them were slain until they had returned in peace. Now, what time as Judas and Jonathan were in the land of Gilead, and Simon, his brother, in Galilee before Ptolemais, Joseph, the son of Zacharias, and Azarias, captain of the garrisons, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done. Wherefore they said, let us also get us a name, and go fight against the heathen that are round about us. Man, just do what Mattathias told you to do. Sit your ass there. Watch the people. Don't war with the heathen. So when they had given charge unto the garrison that was with them, they went towards Jamnia. And then came Gorgias and his men out of the city to fight against them. And so it was that Joseph and Azarias were put to flight and pursued unto the borders of Judea. And there were slain that day of the people of Israel about 2,000 men, for not listening, dummy. And thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel, because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren, but thought to do some valiant act. Moreover, these men came not of the seed of those by whose hand deliverance was given unto Israel. Yep. It was supposed to be the MACCABEES boys, man. Mattathias' sons. Mattathias' son. Howbeit, the man Judas and his brethren were greatly renowned in the sight of all Israel, and of all the heathen, wheresoever their name was heard of. And insomuch as the people assembled unto them with joyful acclamations. And afterward went Judas forth with his brethren, and fought against the children of Esau in the land toward the south, where he smote Hebron and the towns thereof, and pulled down the fortress of it, and burned the towns thereof round about. And from hence he removed to go into the land of the Philistines, and passed through Samaria. At that time, certain priests, desirous to shew their valor, were slain in battle, for that they went out to fight unadvisedly. So Judas turned to Azotus in the land of the Philistines, and when he had pulled down their altars and burned their carved images with fire and spoiled their cities, he returned into the land of Judea. Chapter 6. About that time, King Antiochus, traveling through the high countries, heard say that Elamias in the country of Persia was a city greatly renowned for riches, silver, and gold, and that there was in it a very rich temple, wherein were coverings of gold and breastplates and shields, which Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian king, who reigned first amongst the Grecians, had left there. Alexander the Great. This is Alexander the Great. Wherefore he came and sought to take the city and to spoil it, but he was not able, because they of the city, having had warning thereof, rose up against him in battle. So he fled and departed thence with great heaviness, and returned to Babylon with his tail tucked. Moreover, there came one who brought him tidings into Persia, that the armies which went against the land of Judea were put to flight, and that Lysias, who went forth first with a great power, was driven away of the Jews, and that they were made strong by the armor and power and store of spoils which they had gotten of the armies whom they had destroyed. Also, that they had pulled down the abomination which he had set up upon the altar in Jerusalem, and that they had compassed about the sanctuary with high walls as before, and his city Bethsura. Now, when the king heard these words, he was astonished and sore moved, and whereupon he laid him down upon his bed and fell sick for grief, because it had not befallen him as he looked before. And there he continued many days, for his grief was ever more and more, and he made account that he should die. Wherefore he called for all his friends, and said unto them, The sleep is gone from mine eyes, and my heart faileth for every care. And I thought with myself, into what tribulation I am come, and how great a flood of misery is it, wherein now I am, for I am bountiful, and beloved of my power. But now I remember the evils that I did at Jerusalem, and that I took all the vessels of gold and silver that were therein, and sent to destroy the inhabitants of Judea without a cause. I perceive, therefore, that for this cause these troubles are come upon me. And behold, I perish through great grief in a strange land. Then called he for Philip, one of his friends, with whom he made ruler over his realm, and gave him the crown and his robe and his signet, to the end he should bring up his son Antiochus and nourish him up for the kingdom. So King Antiochus died there in the 149th year. Now when Lysias knew that the king was dead, he set up Antiochus his son, whom he had brought up, being young, and to reign in his stead. And his name he called Eupator. About this time, they that were in the tower shut up the Israelites round about the sanctuary, and sought always their hurt, and the strengthening of the heathen. Wherefore Judas, purposing to destroy them, called all the people together to besiege them. So they came together and besieged them in the 150th year. And he made mounts for shots against them, and other engines. There we go with the engines again. Mounts for shots against them. I wonder if that's what kind of shots that was. And he made mounts for shots against them and other engines. What type of engines of war did he make? What type of mounts did he make? Mounts for shot against them. Or the arrows to get a better vantage point with arrows. I wonder if that was it. Howbeit, certain of them that were besieged got forth, unto whom some ungodly men of Israel joined themselves. And they went unto the king and said, How long will it be ere thou execute judgment and avenge our brethren? We have been willing to serve thy father, and to do as he would have us, and to obey his commandment. For which cause they of our nation besiege the tower, and are alienated from us. Moreover, as many of us they could light on, they slew, and spoiled our inheritance. Neither have they stretched out their hand against us only, but also against all their borders. And behold, this day are they besieging the tower at Jerusalem to take it. The sanctuary also and Bootsoulja have they fortified. Wherefore, if thou dost not prevent them quickly, they will do greater things than these, and neither shalt thou be able to rule them. Now, when the king heard this, he was angry, and gathered together all his friends and the captains of his army, and those that had charge of the horse. There came also unto him from other kingdoms, and from isles of the sea, bands of hired soldiers, so that the number of his army was 100,000 footmen, and 20,000 horsemen, and 32 elephants, exercised in battle. And these went through Idumea, and pitched against Bootsoulja, which they assaulted many days, making engines of war. But they of Bootsoulja came out, and burned them with fire, and fought valiantly. Some more engines of war. I wonder if them elephants went with the engines of war. I wonder. Upon this, Judas removed from the tower and pitched in Bat Zacharias, over against the king's camp. And then the king arose very early, marched fiercely with his host toward Beth Zacharias, and where his armies made them ready to battle, and sounded the trumpets. Oh, the hell with the king. That's the king of trumpets. And to the end, they might provoke the elephants to fight. And they shewed them the blood of grapes and mulberries. Moreover, they divided the beast among the armies, and for every elephant they appointed 1,000 men, armed with coats of mail, and with helmets of brass on their heads. And besides this, for every beast we were adorned 500 horsemen of the best. What is this, verse 36? Let me get something right quick. Verse 36, I want to see something. I have this other book, Battles of the Bible. I want to see if this is in there. Battles of the Bible. Where's Beth Zacharias? Let's see, elephants, maybe. Maybe Judas Maccabees. Let's go to Judas. He's in here. Judas Maccabees, Beth Zachariah, page 147. 174, 176. You tell this book ain't been opened in a while. Look at the pages. So Beth Zachariah is close to Jerusalem. The Seleucid elephant. On his second try for the Jewish capital, Lysias brought along the ultimate manifestation of the war elephant in the Mediterranean world. Heavy barding, protecting the animal's flanks and body from arrows and throwing spears, while a wooden turret on the elephant's back shielded archers and javelin men while they returned fire and marked the movements of the foe. It was ready for the battle line or house-to-house combat, and rare was the horse or infantry who could watch such a juggernaut bearing down upon him without trepidation. And one such man there was in the Maccabean army. It has a war elephant. This is another image they have. All this is at Beth Zachariah. Ambushing and arrows had worked 2 years before for Maccabees at the Battle of Bootsoulja, but the wary Lysias had flankers and scouts at the ready of his army emerged. As his army emerged and found the Jewish forces drawn up on the hillside in front of the outposts at Bet Zachariah from the 19th century illustration. Let's see. Look at them elephants in there. This is another one. All these are elephants. My bad, at the top. All these are elephants. But I think that's just an exaggeration. I think that's just an exaggeration. Beth Zachariah. Battles of the Bible battles. Some more elephants. More war. Backs to the wall, man. Multiple javelins and light shield were the marks of the skirmish Lysias put out on the flanks of his army and his elephants to protect his formations from yet another disastrous ambush. On this occasion, Maccabees chose to meet the enemy in a pitched open battle and lost. Okay, that's say what they was wearing. I guess it's them brass helmets that they were speaking of. I'm gonna keep that right there. I'm gonna keep that right there. We were at 36. These were ready at every occasion, wheresoever the beast was, and whithersoever the beast went. Then also neither departed they from him. And upon the beast there were strong towers of wood, which covered every one of them, and were girded fast unto them with devices. There were also upon every one 32 strong men that fought upon them, besides the Indian that ruled him. As for the remnant of the horsemen, they set them on this side and that side, at the two parts of the host, giving them signs what to do, and being harnessed all over amidst the ranks. Now, when the sun shone upon the shields of gold and brass, the mountains glistened therewith, and shined like lamps of fire. So part of the king's army, being spread upon the high mountains and part on the valley below, they marched on safely and in order. Wherefore, all that heard the noise of their multitude and the marching of their company and the rattling of the harness were moved, for the army was very great and mighty. Then Judas and his host drew near and entered into the battle, and there were slain of the king's army 600 men. Eleazar, also surnamed Savron, perceiving that one of the beasts, armed with the royal harness, was higher than all the rest, and supposing that the king was upon him, put himself in jeopardy to the end he might deliver his people and get him a perpetual name. Wherefore he ran upon him courageously through the midst of the battle, slaying on the right hand and on the left, so that there were divided from him on both sides. Which done, he crept under the elephant and thrust him under and slew him, whereupon the elephant fell down upon him, and there he died. Damn, Eleazar. Damn. Howbeit, the rest of the Jews, seeing the strength of the king and the violence of his forces, turned away from them. And then the king's army went up to Jerusalem and met them. And the king pitched his tents against Judea and against Mount Zion. But with them that were in Bethshur, he made peace. For they came out of the city because they had no victuals there to endure the siege. And it being a year of rest in the land. I guess it was a Jubilee year? A Jubilee year? So the king took Bethshur and set a garrison there to keep it. And as for the sanctuary, he besieged it many days, and set their artillery with engines and instruments to cast fire and stones and pieces to cast darts and slings. Whereupon they also made engines against their engines, and held them battle a long season. Yet at the last their vessels being without victuals, for that it was the 7th year, and they in Judea that were delivered from the Gentiles had eaten up the residue of the store. Yeah, it was a Jubilee year. There were but a few, let me mark that, a Jubilee year. For that it was the 7th year, the Jubilee year. There were but a few left in the sanctuary, because the famine did so prevail against them, that they were fain to disperse themselves, every man to his own place. And at that time Lysias heard say that Philip, whom Antiochus the king, whilst he lived, had appointed to bring up his son Antiochus, that he might be king, was returned out of Persia and Media, and the king's host also that went with him, and that he sought to take unto him the ruling of the affairs. Wherefore he went in all haste and said to the king and the captains of the host and the company, We decay daily, and our victuals are but small, and the place we lay siege unto is strong, and the affairs of the kingdom lie upon us. Now therefore, let us be friends with these men, and make peace with them, and with all their nation, and covenant with them, that they shall live after their laws, as they did before. For they are therefore displeased, and have done all these things, because we abolished their laws. So the king and the princes were content, and wherefore he sent unto them to make peace, and they accepted thereof. Also the king and the princes made an oath unto them, whereupon they went out of the stronghold. And then the king entered into Mount Zion. But when he saw the strength of the place, he brake his oath that he had made, and gave commandment to pull down the wall round about. And afterward departed he in all haste, and returned unto Antiochia, where he found Philip to be master of the city. So he fought against him and took the city by force. Chapter 7. In the 150th year, Demetrius, the son of Seleucus, departed from Rome, and came up with a few men unto a city of the sea coast, and reigned there. And as he entered into the place of his ancestors, so it was that his forces had taken Antiochus and Lysias to bring them unto him. And wherefore, when he knew it, he said, Let me not see their faces. So his host slew them. Now, when Demetrius was set upon the throne of his kingdom, there came unto him all the wicked and ungodly men of Israel, hanging Alchemus, who was desirous to be the high priest, for their captain. Man. And they accused the people to the king, saying, Judas and his brethren have slain all thy friends, and driven us out of our own land. These some dusty foots, man. Turn it on your brothers. You always got some of them, man. You always got some haters. Hate. Haters. Haters. Not all Israel is Israel. Haters. They switch sides, man. They to and fro. They back and forth like a reed shaking in the wind. First they're with Israel, then they're against Israel. And if Israel start winning, then they're going to be with Israel again, man. Pick your poison. You know, be hot or be cold. Choose one. Choose a side. Choose ye this day. Who you going to serve? Man. Now, therefore, send some man whom thou trustest, and let him go and see what havoc he hath made among us, and in the king's land, and let him punish them with all them that aid them. Then the king chose Bacchides, a friend of the king, who ruled beyond the flood, and was a great man in the kingdom, and faithful to the king. And him he sent with that wicked Alchemus, whom he made high priest, and commanded that he should take vengeance of the children of Israel. So they departed and came with a great power into the land of Judea, where they sent messengers to Judas and his brethren with peaceable words deceitfully. But they gave no heed to their words, for they saw that they were come with a great power. Then did there assemble unto Alchemus and Bacchides a company of scribes to require justice. Now the Assyrians were the first among the children of Israel that sought peace of them. For said they, one that is a priest of thy seed, of the seed of Aaron, is come with this army, and he will do us no wrong. So he spake unto them peaceably, and sware unto them, saying, we will procure the harm neither of you nor your friends. And whereupon they believed him, howbeit he took of them 70 men, and slew them in one day, according to the words which he wrote. The flesh of thy slain have thou cast out, and their blood have they shed round about Jerusalem, and there was none to bury them. Wherefore the fear and dread of them fell upon all the people, who said, there is neither truth nor righteousness in them, for they have broken the covenant and oath that they made. And after this removed Bacchides from Jerusalem, and pitched his tent in Bezeth, where he sent and took many of the men that had forsaken him, and certain of the people also. And when he had slain them, he cast them into the great pit. Sound like that thing in 300. My nose itching. Then committed he to the country to Alchemus, and left with him a power to aid him. So Bacchides went to the king. But Alchemus contended for the high priesthood, and unto him restored all such as troubled the people, who after they had gotten the land of Judah into their power, did much hurt in Israel. Now, when Judah saw all the mischief that Alchemus and his company had done among the Israelites, even above the heathen, he went out into all the coast of Judea round about, and took vengeance of them that had revolted from him, so that they durst no more go forth into the country. On the other side When Alchemist saw that Judas and his company had gotten the upper hand and knew that he was not able to abide their force, he went again to the king and said all the worst of them that he could. Then the king sent Nicanor, one of his honorable princes, a man that bare deadly hate unto Israel, with commandment to destroy the people. So Nicanor came to Jerusalem with a great force, and sent unto Judas and his brethren deceitfully with friendly words, saying, let there be no battle between me and you, and I will come with a few men, that I may see you in peace. He came therefore to Judas, and they saluted one another peaceably. Howbeit, the enemies were prepared to take away Judas by violence, which thing after it was known to Judas, to wit, that he came unto him with deceit, he was sore afraid of him, and would see his face no more. Now Nicanor also, when he saw that his counsel was discovered, went out to fight against Judas beside Capharsalama, where there were slain of Nicanor's side about 5,000 men, and the rest fled into the city of David. And after this went Nicanor up to Mount Zion, and there came out of the sanctuary certain of the priests and certain of the elders of the people to salute him peaceably, and to shew him the burnt sacrifice that was offered for the king. But he mocked them, and laughed at them, and abused them shamefully, and spake proudly, and sware in his wrath, saying, unless Judas and his host be now delivered into my hands, if ever I come again in safety, I will burn up this house. And with that he went out in a great rage. Then the priest entered in and stood before the altar in the temple, weeping and saying, thou, O Lord, didst choose this house to be called by thy name, and to be a house of prayer and petition for thy people. Be avenged of this man and his host, and let him fall by the sword, and remember their blasphemies, and suffer them not to continue any longer. So Nicanor went out of Jerusalem, and pitched his tents in Beth-horon, where an host out of Syria met him. But Judas pitched in Adasa with 3,000 men, and there he prayed, saying, O Lord, when they that went sent forth the king of the Assyrians blasphemed, from an angel went out and smote 185,000 of them. Even so destroy those this host before us this day, that the rest may know that he had spoken blasphemously against thy sanctuary, and judge thou him according to his wickedness. So the 30th day of the month Adar, the 30th day of the month Adar, the month Adar. The host joined battle. But Nicanor's host was discomfited, and he himself was first slain in battle. Kill that boy first. You're the first to go, sucker. Now when Nicanor's host saw that he was slain, they cast away their weapons and fled. And then they pursued after them a day's journey from Adasa unto Gezerah, sounding the alarm after them with their trumpets. Whereupon they came forth out of all the towns of Judea round about, and chose them in, so that they, turning back upon them that pursued them, were all slain with the sword, and not one of them was left. And afterwards they took the spoils of the prey, and smote off Nicanor's head and his right hand, which he stretched out so proudly, and brought them away, and hanged them and hanged them up towards Jerusalem. For this cause the people rejoiced greatly, and kept that day a day of great gladness, where moreover they ordained to keep yearly this day, being the 13th of Adar. My bad, I said it wrong earlier. So the 13th, not the 30th, the 13th day of the month of Adar. That was earlier. Verse 49, moreover, they are ordained to keep yearly this day on the 13th day of Adar, the destruction of Nicanor is what it's called. And thus the land of Judea was in rest a little while. The destruction of Nicanor. Chapter 8, this is the last chapter. It's a short one compared to the other ones we read. Chapter 8. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them, and that they were men of great valor. It was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done among the Galatians, and how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute, and what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines and of the silver and gold which is there, and that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place. And though it were very far from them, and the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them, and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year. And besides this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip and Perseus, king of the Kittims, with others that lifted up themselves against them, and had overthrown them. How also Antiochus, the great king of Asia, that came against them in battle, having 120 elephants, and with horsemen and chariots, and a very great army, was discomfited by them, and how they took him alive, and covenanted that he and such as reigned after him should pay a great tribute and give hostages, and that which was agreed upon, and the country of India and Media and Lydia, and of the goodliest countries which they took of him, and gave to King Eumenes. Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them, and that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them slew many of them, and carried away captives their wives and their children, and spoiled them, and took possession of their lands, and pulled down their strongholds, and brought them to be their servants unto this day. It was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles, that at any time resisted them, but with their friends and such as relied upon them, they thought they kept amity, and that they had conquered kingdom both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them. The Romans! Also that, whom they would help to a kingdom those reign, and whom again they displace, finally, that they were greatly exalted. Yet, for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end they might be well ordered. And they then committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all the country, the president, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. In consideration of these things, Judas chose Eupolemus, the son of John, the son of Achas, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make a league of amity and confederacy with them, and to entreat them that they would take the yoke from them. For they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians did oppress the land of Israel with servitude. They went therefore to Rome, which was a very great journey, and came into the Senate, where they spake and said, Judas Maccabeus with his brethren and the people of the Jews have sent us unto you to make a confederacy and peace with you, and that we might be registered your confederates and friends, so that matter pleased the Romans well. And this is a copy of the epistle which the Senate wrote back again in tables of brass and sent to Jerusalem, that there they might have by them a memorial of peace and confederacy. Good success be to the Romans and to the people of the Jews by the sea and by land forever. The sword also an enemy be far from them. If there come first war upon the Romans or any of their confederates throughout all their dominion, the people of the Jews shall help them, as the time shall be appointed, with all their heart. Whew. Sleep monster. Neither shall they give anything unto them that make war upon them, or aid them with victuals, weapons, money, or ships, as it had seemed good unto the Romans. And they that shall keep their covenants without taking anything thereto. In the same manner also, if war come first upon the nations of the Jews, the Romans shall help them with all their heart, according as the time shall be appointed them. And neither shall victuals be given to them that take part against them, or weapons, or money, or ships, as it hath seemed good to the Romans, but they shall keep their covenants, and that without deceit. According to these articles did the Romans make a covenant with the people of the Jews. Howbeit, if hereafter the one party or the other shall think meet to add or diminish anything, they may do it at their pleasures. And whatsoever they shall add or take away shall be ratified. And as touching the evils that Demetrius doeth to the Jews, we have written unto him, saying, Wherefore hast thou made thy yoke heavy upon our friends and confederates, the Jews? If therefore they complain any more against thee, we will do them justice and fight with thee by the sea and by land. And that was the end of chapters 5 and 8 of the book of First Maccabees. Ooh, wait. And I was getting tired there at the end. I ain't gonna lie. The sleep monster was getting on me, man. trumpets. Oh, I forgot my bookmark. Judas Maccabees making covenant with the Romans, man. I don't know if that was such a good idea, Judas. I don't know if that was such a good idea, but I guess we're going to see. I guess we're going to see. As we continue on, I think, like the covenant with the Romans that Judas Maccabees made, it goes hand in hand in my mind with the covenant that Toussaint was making with the French. He also made a covenant with the British, or with the Spaniards, and everybody wanted to put them into slavery. All of them. It didn't matter who they were. Ooh, excuse me. But, staunch similarities. Staunch similarities. But that was First Maccabees. That was Rise and Scripts for the day, man. Rise and Scripts. I had to pull out another book to see if it was in there. Battles of the Bible, 1400 BC to AD 73. Battles of the Bible. Which I just got this for reference. I haven't really used it much, but I got it for reference, and it definitely came in handy today. Definitely. Man, blow up the trumpets. Well, we'll come back next time and we'll pick back up in First Maccabees chapter 9. Let me see how many. Let's see how many. Chapter 9. 9, 10. So 9 is a pretty long chapter. We'll only read 9 through 11. 9 through 11 in the next Rise and Scripts reading. We'll read 9 through 11. In the book of the First Maccabees in the Apocrypha. And 9 through 11, man, that's going to put us, we're going to be almost done with First Maccabees, and we'll be moving on to Second Maccabees, and then we'll pick back up in First Esdras, Second Esdras, Tobit, Judith, and the rest of Esther, which by the time we get to the rest of Esther, man, we might just read the book of Esther. We might read the book of Esther and then come back with the rest of Esther, so that way we can have a clearer picture. A clearer picture of what was going on, and what was happening, so that way we can understand the rest of Esther better. But hey, that was Rise and Scripts, man. Maybe that's why I was getting sleepy, because I was doing all that leaning. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Rise and Scripts, man. Rise and Scripts. Get up. Read your book. Whoever you serve, read your books. Find out the things that have happened of old. Search them out. See what your forefathers who followed after the same thing you following, or so say following, see what they did. See what they did. See if the ones who are doing the shit you doing, did they fail or did they rise? Which one? Was things good for them? Was it good for them or was it bad for them? Figure it out. Figure it out. But the only way you can do that is by reading your book, whichever it is. And mine is the Bible and the Apocrypha and other books that go with it. But that's me. So next time, everybody. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Get your day going. Get your day started, man. If you didn't catch it, I read last night. We're reading with Shallow, so you can catch that on the back end, where we pick back up in chapter 13. And I'll come back later on before the Sabbath starts and pick back up again with, I want to say this is episode 26 or... episode 26 or episode 27 with one of them of chapter 13, part 27 or part 26. I'm not sure. I have to go back and check for the reading with Shiloh, where we'll pick back up in chapter 13, man. We're almost done with chapter 13, so we can keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward to finishing the book so the book can be assassinated, man. So I can smoke that book. I smoked it. After many days, I have smoked the book. But that's what we're going to see, man. So catch y'all on the next go round. Catch you on the next go round. Once again, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Shalom. I'm out.